Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, February 10th, 2026 Commission meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order and have a roll call.
Commissioner Marquardt.
Here.
Commissioner Matherly. Is he muted?
I can't hear her.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you, but I can't hear the reporter.
She's asking if you're here.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Varela.
I'm here.
Okay, if you'll all rise for the invocation, please. Holy Father, we gather today with gratitude for the responsibility entrusted to us. Grant us clarity in our discussions and fairness in our decisions. May our work strengthen the well-being of all who call this county home, and may wisdom guide us toward choices that honor the common good. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen. If you'll join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendships among united cultures. Okay, we're not going to do the proclamation for Bob Flott today. He's not feeling well, so we're going to move that to the March agenda. I'm going to get a motion to approve the agenda, and then we're going to go into our public hearing at 9:05.
I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll
I'll
second it.
second. Oh,
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, so we're going to move on to our public hearing. Discuss, hear public comment regarding the Metropolitan Redevelopment Plan for 305 Moonglow Street, Alamogordo, New Mexico, Patriot Point Development. Where's our guy?
He had a phone call.
Uh-oh.
Ian is on Teams. He could probably start speaking.
Okay. You got the
Good morning,
floor.
Madam Chair and Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us this morning. RB has put together a draft Metropolitan Redevelopment Plan for the Patriot Point redevelopment area that has already been designated as a redevelopment area. This hearing is the next step in finalizing the plans for redeveloping that area, as well as the incentives that the county is willing to provide for redevelopment of that area. The Metropolitan Redevelopment Plan, because the area is really simply limited to the Patriot Point development, the plan is fairly simple. As you may remember, in order to get through the designation of the area as a redevelopment area, we had to get the buy-in of the city in the form of what we call a necessity ordinance. That ordinance required that the city have some say in the plan and operation of the redevelopment area. So RB has been working with representatives of the city to put together the Metropolitan Redevelopment Plan. The city's representatives have provided a few comments. Before the plan can be officially adopted by the county, it has to be subject to 2 public hearings. This is the first of those hearings. And this hearing is intended to offer any member of the public who's interested the opportunity to speak about the project or anything that they would like to see done with respect to the public infrastructure around the project or anything relating to the project. So if the Madam Chair, if you'd like to call to order the public hearing, allow anybody who, I'm not sure if anybody submitted comments prior to the meeting, and if anybody's there to make a public comment, now would be the time to give them the floor. Once that public hearing has been taken care of, we will work to incorporate, to the extent necessary, any public comments to the public, or to the redevelopment plan. And then there will be a second public hearing after which the plan can be formally adopted. And these are all just requirements of the New Mexico Metropolitan Redevelopment Code. So I'm happy to answer any questions before the public hearing or during or after as well.
Okay. We currently don't have anyone signed up to speak, so I don't think we have anyone that wants to step forward and make a comment. Can you hear me?
That makes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
that makes it pretty easy then. So what we'll do from here is if nobody has any comments, we will, RB and I will continue working with the city to finalize some of the provisions that the city had commented on and work with the developer to make sure it meets the developer's expectations to the extent possible. And then we will be back, I believe RB was planning to have the second hearing be a special meeting sometime later in the month. So we'll plan to be back in front of you with the final plan for adoption in the next few weeks.
Okay. Anything else on that? Wow, that was easy.
Okay.
I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, we'll continue.
Can we go ahead and schedule that special meeting
Sure.
so we can advertise?
Yep.
Sylvia, what's the earliest we can do that?
Well, I believe Ian, they've been the ones that have been advertising, is that correct?
They have been.
Yeah, so I guess if, however, you guys wanted us to do
It
this.
was in February.
I think February is too tight, because you need at least 14 days.
And Vicki won't be here the first week of March.
We've got 18 days left.
So it could be on Thursday, the 26th.
Yeah, we need to get it done before March. So if-
Before March?
Yeah, so if we could do the 26th.
I could do
Okay.
the 26th. I'll be back from Washington the 25th, so I could do that.
Okay.
What time?
I could do that.
Okay.
I could do whatever time you guys
You
want.
guys want to do 9 o'clock?
Sure. So February 26th at 9, 2/26/26.
So Ian, will you guys get that published, that notification out? Okay.
Yes, I will, I'll get that out today. Trying to, I'll double check the deadlines for the newspaper, but I think we shouldn't have a problem time-wise with that, and I will, we'll get it into them today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on with our meeting. We'll have our sheriff's office report.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
David Black, Otero County Sheriff. Okay, for January 2026, Sheriff's Office responded to 1,728 calls for service. We generated 224 investigative reports, 51 traffic crash investigations. We made 54 arrests, issued 78 traffic citations, served 353 subpoenas for the courts. Calls responded to in the village of Tularosa is 44. In the village of Cloudcroft is 59. Calls responded to in the city of Alamogordo is 359. And calls responded to in Chaparral is 487. For Chapa, I threw these in there just for Commissioner Matherly to kind of have the numbers as far as the Chaparral reports, 64, 11 arrests, and 105 animal calls. In our narcotics division, we had 13 search warrants, we had 33 arrests, 27 fugitive arrests. They generated 39 case reports. We had one jail possession case, We seized 6 firearms. We seized 10 vehicles. We had 6 other assets that were seized. 75.84 grams of meth, 49 Suboxone strips, 9.39 grams of cocaine, 17 fentanyl dosage units or tablets, 2.21 grams of fentanyl powder, and this was kind of strange, 49.3 grams of mushrooms.
Oh,
It was kind of different. 4 morphine dosage units. Total dollar amount on the illegal narcotics is $8,341. In our special events, public relations events, in January, myself, Under Sheriff Robles, Executive Assistant Natalia Alonso attended the New Mexico Legislative Conference, where the New Mexico Sheriff's Association met with numerous senators and representatives. They come in and kind of discussed a lot of the bills that had been pre-filed, kind of get our opinions on a lot of those bills and stuff. We discussed pros and cons on the numerous bills, how they would affect law enforcement, as well as how it will affect the constituents that we represent. The following week, myself and Under Sheriff Robles attended the Otero County Days in Santa Fe, where once again, we were afforded the opportunity to visit with senators and representatives about the bills introduced, as well as discuss any capital outlay projects submitted by Otero County. In our training, we just completed our 2-year mandated training cycle. And I wanted to throw a few numbers at you here just so you kind of understand what we have to go through. It's comprised of a total of 77 hours of mandated training for each deputy. A total of 4,851 hours of mandated training. I know there's been some comments lately about the Otero County Sheriff's Office, in some people's opinions, that needs more training. And I'll tell you right now, they have no idea what they're talking about. In 2025, every one of my deputies have also attended 20 hours of red dot handgun, 20 hours of rifle red dot training, an additional 8 hours of use of force, 8 hours legal update, 8 hours search and seizure, 8 hours of use of force report writing, 8 additional hours of firearms training, 4 hours for each firearm qualification, which equates to an additional 88 hours per deputy, which totals up to about 5,544 hours of additional advanced training. For the month of January, deputies attended classes to include 16-hour sexual assault investigation, 24 hours of National Child Passenger Safety certifications, 16 hours of investigative interview techniques, 16 hours of ground control tactics, 16 hours of New Mexico Edge CPO courses, 16 hours of field training officer, legislative conference, did the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, 40 hours of first line supervisor training, and the Otero County Days. And then our IT guys also attended 40-hour training for Comp TIA security and certification. Don't ask me what Comp TIA is for. That's IT stuff. The Otero County Sheriff's Office and the Alamogordo Police Department hosted a use of force documentation class. This was very well attended by both Alamogordo police officers and the Otero County deputies. In our manning, I currently have 5 deputies that recently graduated the academy. They are in the FTO program. I have 2 lateral deputies that have recently started and will begin the FTO program soon. I have 2 laterals that are almost complete with their background and will be starting soon. These numbers you hear is a result of, Deputy Schoolcraft left and went to be the chief in Cloudcroft. And then I had a deputy that left us and he went to New Mexico State Police. So the way it sits right now, I have 4 openings, 2 of which will be filled soon with lateral transfers. The other 2 will hopefully be filled with the participants of our next physical fitness assessment. We're going to do that on February 21st at the Tularosa High School. And we have a total of 28 applications for this assessment right now. On our vehicles, We just put in rotation a new transport Tahoe. Our sex offender register, Deputy Reyes, through a grant that she wrote, she worked at it, she got it. Got her a new Tahoe for her work. And we got 2 patrol Tahoes that have been finished and put in service. We do have 3 Tahoes in the upfitting phase right now with Wicked Upfitters. So with that, I will stand for any questions.
You've been busy.
It's been very busy.
I know with this last weather event we had with the 2 solid days of rain, and then we've got the snow on top of that. I know our sheriff's office was out helping people. I know you personally went out and with Deputy Jones and kind of rescued some hunters that were
We had
in 3
about a
feet of snow up there and
5-hour trek. We
chopping
got
down
to test
trees.
We got to test our new Polaris, well, not new Polaris, it's an older Polaris that has snow tracks on it now. That was a lifesaver. It took us 5 hours to do what we did, and we had to remove some trees out of the roadway and all that stuff, but we got in there and got them out. And then special thanks to Eric Wershing, Fire Chief in
Yes, definitely.
Cloudcroft. He showed up with a couple of snowmobiles, so with our combined efforts, we were able to get all 4 of them out. They didn't get their trucks and campers out. Probably gonna be a while before that happens.
Probably be
but-
spring.
But we were able to get them out and get them safely back to Cloudcroft, so.
Yep. Thank you for that. Thank you for responding to that. And also, while you yourself didn't have any electricity and had things to tend to as
Yeah.
well, so thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
The generator fired up, went back to work, so.
Yeah, the sheriff's office and our road department did amazing work during all that, so we appreciate that very much.
Yes.
So, no, I don't have any questions. Oh, I was
do.
gonna ask you about that Suboxone stuff. Are those strips like those Listerine strips? Is that what that looks like?
You know, to be honest with you, I have never even seen one. I'm
Because I
gonna
know you're,
kinda-
in your reports, they're getting to be more and more.
Can you tell us what they look like?
They're orange, but they look like a Listerine.
So they're just that real thin thing and they just stick it in their mouth and
Dissolve.
that's why they're so hard to detect? They can like stick them in their clothes and stuff? That seems to be a new trend, you know? Okay, I was just curious about that.
Yeah, we're starting to see those not only, we've seen a lot of it with jail, in the jail and stuff, but we're starting to see it on the street a lot too, so.
Yeah.
It's kind of different, but it's happening, so.
Okay.
What is the feedback from the deputies with this AI dispatching thing going on? Are they liking it, or?
I think we're still a little too early. We're still kind of trying to learn it. It's different. It's change. So I think some were like, the hate change.
Right?
But I think we're starting to see, they're starting to get used to it, starting to learn it. So I think maybe next month at our meeting, ask me again,
Okay.
and I'll try to give you a little better update. I think it's so new right now that we really don't have a good grasp on it just
Yeah.
yet, so.
And is that gonna also help you guys with police reports, like it's gonna help the fire department with their reports?
I know for the law enforcement it will. Not only will it help us with reports, but it will help us save body cams. We can play body cam in this program and stuff like that, and it's gonna basically transcribe it for us. So it's gonna knock hours off of sitting there listening and typing. It'll transcribe it. They're gonna have to go back and review it because the way the program's set up, it's gonna put some stuff in there that they have to recognize that's not right.
Right.
So it forces them to review the report completely and then make sure that not only is it truthful, complete, but you don't have these other little words and stuff thrown in there. It's just a kind of a catch-all to where it forces them to go back and review those reports and stuff, make them correct.
Okay. Well, listening to it has been interesting.
I bet.
Yes,
So,
it has.
that's all I got. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Sheriff Black, could I get you to continue sending me the chaparral reports, the monthly reports I went over those with the people at the Colquitt meeting. They were very surprised that their community had that many calls and stuff going on, so they were very interested in that.
Yes, sir. And Nat will see that if y'all want them to, we can get them sent to everybody.
Okay.
Copy of them, so,
Okay, thank you.
thank you,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Do we have someone from Taberta? Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Just say your name and still will have it for the record.
Robert Norian, Deputy Director of Taberta. So for the month of January, we had 7,800 calls entered for service, 10,600 received. Of those 10,600 received, about 8,200 of those were admin calls, 2,300 of those were 911 calls. Our abandonment rate was below 4%. Our combined average speed of answer was just under 5 seconds. As far as staffing is concerned, for January, we had 9 that were fully trained. We had 7 that were in training. Currently, we have 10 that are fully trained now because we did bring someone back. We have 5 that are currently still in training in some form or fashion. Our overtime hours were over 400. Vacation was just under 41, and our sick time was under 50 hours. But for February, we stand to actually increase our vacation and decrease our overtime, so we're seeing improvement.
That's really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other
Tough
than
job. They need their vacations.
Yes. very
Need a
much so.
break. So,
But aside from that, I stand for questions.
okay. I don't think I've got any. Do you?
I don't want to be hard on you. You did good.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. You did good. Commissioner Matherly, you have any questions?
No, I don't. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you.
Yay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Matt Clark, Emergency Services Director.
Good morning.
And I have Laura Doth from South Central RC&D. In a minute, she's going to give you some updates on everything that she's been working on. The volunteers responded to 337 calls during the month of January. 8 fires, 274 medical, 19 non-emergent, and 14 public assists. The fire department did go out during the snowstorm looking for people, helping out as well. So that was the public assist side of it for most of it. Code enforcement had 15 solid waste, 1 illegal dumping, and 16 open burns. And while they were out and about, picked up 5 different locations of trash that was laying on the side of the road or just off the road. We responded to 25 fire calls, 28 EMS calls out of the office, completed 3 fire inspections. One of them was at I believe it was the the High Roll School. We have 2 cases that are over in court, waiting for court dates to appear. 27 cases open, 1 dilapidated building, 34 follow-ups, 28 cases closed, and 5 fire investigations. Angie Court has a bench warrant issued. We opened up the North Florida property again. Bench warrant for Jungsun and Mike Court. We are still receiving way tickets from Tractor Road. 15 First Street had their final notice posted, so I expect that one to go into court here shortly. And 23 Desert Star has pre-trial scheduled for March 18th. 53 Otero still has an active bench warrant, and Otero land surveyors went out and gave us a quick unofficial report on where all the easements are. Once they finish that, they'll get that back to us, and we will act upon the easements as they are drawn. We have a public meeting scheduled for the 5th of March up at Cloudcroft Middle School. It is for the CWPP update. Tidal Basin is hosting that. It'll be at the middle school in Cloudcroft. With that, Laura's going to give you some updates on what she's been working for us.
What time is that meeting?
6 o'clock, I think.
You said March 5th, Matt?
Yes. And I'm looking at the time now.
Okay, I didn't know if we had any more questions. Thank you, Commissioners, for the opportunity to come and talk with you. I'm Laura Doth with the South Central Mountain Resource Conservation and Development Council. I gave you just a brief little sheet that kind of talks about some of the projects that we've completed, some that are ongoing, and some future projects that are coming along. We're happy to let you know that we've completed the Two Goats NFL. That project has been paid out and everything is good with it. Carissa Springs Phase 1, which was the water source protection project up in Tiburon, that was completed, and I'm happy to say that they were actually seeing some really good results in improved water coming from that area. And then we also finalized and finished this last fiscal year the Otero County WUI, and that was 200 acres. That was completed with that. Currently, we have another Carissa Springs project, and that one is not only doing the water source protection, but some fire mitigation and safety. That area has basically one road in and one road out, so we're doing thinning in that area and hopefully able to prevent any kind of fire danger in there so that if something happens, those folks will be safe. The Cloudcroft NFL, we have 94 targeted acres in that one. The budget for that is $352,000. It is a higher price per acre because that project is actually right in town. So we are dealing with a lot of hazard trees, trees right around homes, power lines, the tanks, gas tanks, and that type of thing. So it's moving slowly, but we are progressing forward with that. So I think we've completed 4 or 5 properties right now and moving forward with that. The state land office in Tiburon that butts up next to the community, we have targeted about 100 acres there, and we are moving along with that. We've completed probably 25% of that and are moving into some larger timber cutting up there. As Matt said, the Otero County CWPP is well underway on that update, and that meeting has been scheduled. There have been online meetings that folks have been talking with and doing the core meetings with that, so that's moving right along. We do also have an education and outreach effort. We continue that with our social media presence, talking about things that are happening in Otero County and different projects available to folks. Upcoming, NUMAC, it's not NUMAC anymore, New Mexico Counties, has their grant application out, and we are talking with Matt on what areas we would like to go. They have $100,000 in that, which is how we have done the 2 Tiburon projects, but we'd like to see and are identifying some properties that we might be able to do work for that. That application is due at the end of this month, so we'll be submitting something on behalf of the county for that one. With New Mexico Forestry Division, we have the Sac River WUI. That is targeting 50 acres in Tiburon and then 50 acres contiguous in the outside of Otero County. That budget is $301,000. We also have Perk Canyon, the landscape scale restoration project. That is right at, we had put in a larger application, they partially funded it, so we have $123,000 coming in with that. One of the things that we are very happy about is we do use all local contractors on doing the work that is here. So since July 1 through today, we've spent $316,000 to our contractors locally. So it also is really helpful as a financial injection there. We are expanding the Rural Community Forester Services. We are partnering with NRCS. We'll be doing a training in Socorro in March for that, so that we will be able to actually do inspections on properties where ranchers and that type of thing, so it qualifies them for NRCS funding to be able to do that. We continue to work with BLM. They have, with the shift in reorganizing BLM, they are looking at, primarily we've been focused in the Tiburon area, but I got an email yesterday saying that they're wanting to look at additional areas throughout Otero County. I let them know we work very closely with the Otero Soil Water Conservation District as our partner in that, so wherever we can fit into the equation and accomplish work, we'll work with them on that. Part of the things we want to look at too is apparently some of the lands that were BLM that border Tiburon are now going to be classified under DOD. So we'll be looking at working with Department of Defense and figure out how we can continue the work moving forward there to protect the Tiburon area.
What's DOD gonna be doing up there?
I have no idea. This is all under the new, what are they calling it, Department of Wildland Fire or something, where they've combined a lot of different things, and that's what we've been waiting to hear from them, is how that's all gonna work. But apparently, some of those lands that were BLM may now be transferred over to DOD. And since they have all of that over in the range and everything anyway, but we just want to reach out to them and see how we can continue some of these conservation efforts there and the thinning going on.
Is there any way that we can target the BLM that's affecting our flooding below the BLM targeted areas?
One of the things that I'll ask John Selby, who's our contact with BLM, is exactly where, when he, like I said, it was just a very brief email that says we're looking at other areas. So absolutely, we can say, where exactly are you looking? And if we can point them into some of those, areas, and I'll work with Matt on that, on determining what areas need to be looked at, and maybe we can start that conversation and do that.
Yeah, all those FEMA identified areas, anywhere that's east of Tularosa, all the way to Scenic, all of that.
And usually BLM wants to do work when it is either contiguous to BLM lands or we can prove the relationship. So since I don't know what the land ownership is on some of those, we're just gonna have to take a look and see how we can make inroads there to do that. But that's if they're looking at other areas in Otero County, absolutely, I think it would behoove us to recommend, how about here? And do that.
So if we could do flooding mitigation at the same time, that'd be great.
Yeah, so we can look at doing that. The Forest Service has their collaboration meeting tonight. We'll be attending that just to learn about what projects are happening on the Forest Service lands and how we can participate in any kind of collaborative effort there. And then the Otero Working Group, we will be scheduling a meeting for that soon, and get everybody going for the new year on that. So we're busy.
Yeah,
I would
very
stand
busy.
for any questions that you guys have.
So because of our snows and the weather and all that kind of stuff, are we gonna start including some of those emergency services into this plan as well?
For the CWPP?
Yes.
Absolutely, but at the same time, you're revising your emergency response plan. So those two will dovetail, they'll go hand in glove, but certainly with the CWPP, it's going to hit all different areas of that, and with things like the flooding that has come about and the, high snow events and all of those types of things, I think all of those will be covered with that.
Are we gonna be able to address emergencies sooner? I know that we met after the weather and declared a state of emergency so we can get road funding and all that kind of stuff, but there was a lot of, community that needed resources too. In this plan, are we going to be able to write where we can respond?
That would more fit with the EOP that's under rewrite as well, so.
Okay.
It was discussed in our hazard mitigation
And Matt,
It was discussed.
also, there's a meeting at the Forest Service on March 15th. Wait a minute. March 10th, I'm sorry, at 5:30 at the Forest Service building. It's on the early prevention, the spring fire plan. So the gentleman sitting behind you might be able to talk more on that whenever he gets up.
Okay. And that meeting will be at 6 PM at the Cloudcroft Middle School.
Oh, okay. That-
The one on March 10th?
March 5th.
Yeah, but there's one also that the
Right.
Forest Service is having. Is that the same one?
No, two separate meetings. The CWPP Community Public Meeting will be at the Cloudcroft Middle School, March 5th at 6 PM.
And then March 10th
Okay,
is
so
what
what-
meeting?
That's the one Gerald's talking about.
March 10th is our Forest Cooperators.
At
And
the
it's the
forest?
annual, and it'll be up at should be up at Cloudcroft, at the Ranger Station
Yes,
in
at the
Cloudcroft.
Forest Service. Yeah, at the Forest Service.
And what time is that meeting?
5:30.
5:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
$5:30. Got it.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Nope, thank you for that update.
Thank you.
Commissioner Matherly, you have anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Porter with Otero County Road Department.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for getting all those trees down and chopped up and out of the road.
No, we're not done yet.
Oh, I know you're not done, but thank you for so far.
Yeah, that'll be at the tail end of the report. So for the month of January, my office and I have been working on 2027's chip seal projects, get them turned to the state. Amanda's working on the last little bit of paperwork right now, so we'll be ready to submit those. Clean culverts and cattle guards all over the county after this storm. We had major runoff everywhere. We've actually been able to get back into our pit over on Gravel Pit Road and start stockpiling again for the roads that did wash out. Patching throughout the canyon, throughout the county, Haynes Canyon all the way down to Chaparral. I mean, with all that moisture, the roads just took a beating. Brush and mowing, we're down to doing brush work right now. Again, with all the trees that came down, we've been really busy on that. We've been hauling roughly 4 or 5 10-yarder loads worth of chipped brush every day for the last 2 weeks since that storm hit. Sign maintenance throughout the county. Snow removal, we had 2 storms actually, the one in the first part of January, which was a minor one, and then the bigger one at the end of January. We actually spent 7 days cleaning up after that. We still have some of the forest roads that we haven't had a chance to even get into yet. My crew and I took a ride out last week up through one of them. We got in about 2 miles. We had to turn around between the 2 feet of snow and all the trees that were down. Emergency services and myself been working with FEMA, working on the paperwork for all the flooding we had back in June. So,
Been busy. All that wood that you guys are cutting on the side of the road, can anybody pick that up for firewood, or what are we
Yes.
gonna do with that?
yeah.
They can
anybody-
just go
anybody-
get it?
Anybody can have that.
Oh,
We try
good.
to leave the bigger stuff blocked up. A lot of the stuff, like along the Sac River Road, we've
Mm-hmm.
actually just had to push it off into the snowbanks, and so it'll be there this spring.
Okay, because I know there's some good wood up there for anybody that needs it, so that would be great.
What about my one-way sign?
That is a personal driveway, and again, it comes back to that conversation we had via email yesterday. That is up to the property owner to protect their patrons.
So they can put a do not turn left in the median off of the
They can
state?
put it on their stop sign that they,
You can't read it. There is one there, but you can't read it. That's the point of putting it in front of their face.
yeah, no, again, because there is no crossover there, the state won't do it.
That's why it needs a sign, don't turn left.
They have them, every place is a crossover, they have the do not enter signs and do not turn left. That's,
You cannot, when you pull up to look down the highway, it's back here. We've got to do something. We have elderly that are turning left and driving backwards down the highway.
Yep.
I mean, we have got to do something
Where are you talking about?
in front of
Leather
Leather
and
and
Lace.
Lace.
Oh, yeah,
but we
yeah,
have
I know where you're
multiple
talking about.
driveways that are the same way, Commissioner.
But this is the one I want fixed.
Yeah.
So the private citizen can put a sign up on their median fence?
No, not on the state property, they can't. And again, I keep pressuring Francisco for it and the rest of Roswell, that's all I can tell you.
Okay. Might have to help add some pressure. Okay.
Commissioner Matherly, do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Don't leave, Tom.
Don't leave.
No, I'm not.
No.
Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners. Trent Parker, Project Manager.
Good morning.
First up is the Chen's roof replacement. We're still waiting on the fully signed agreements to be returned so that we can
We're
proceed.
thinking, I'm hoping,
I looked in the system this morning, since they claim that's where they will be, they're not there yet.
do you think that was on that meeting we had yesterday, the 4 emergency projects? I'm hoping
I
that they're
have,
Otero
I
County.
have no idea. I did look in the system, 3 of the 4 projects are now showing in the state system,
Okay.
but there's nothing, no agreements in there. I checked right before the meeting.
Okay,
So I'll check multiple times a day.
okay.
Well, and after the recent weather event, they had some leaking in the building, so Buildings and Grounds went in and did some additional patching. We've been trying to avoid putting too much resource and money into it, just because we're fixing to tear it all off. But we're trying to keep Band-Aids on it until this funding comes through.
Thank you. That was quite confusing between emergency needs to funding needs. That conversation was convoluted, and thank you for clearing that all out.
Yeah.
Even I was like, I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
Yeah.
So-
It gets confusing. Flickinger Center, that project, we're complete with that. Due to the weather event with the 3 inches of rain and roughly 4 inches of snow, we did discover 3 new roof leaks, but the contractor was still on site, so we executed a change order, did some additional roof patching, and fixed the places on the inside of the theater so that we don't hold up any of their productions. But we are collecting pricing for doing a possible roof coating. That roof is pretty well aged. A coating is much cheaper than a full tear-off and replacement. We're probably in the ballpark of around $100,000 for even a recoat, but it does hold a 15-year warranty. So
Is that what we did at the prison facility?
Mhm.
Okay,
at the prison, and we just recently did it on the courthouse as well.
Okay.
So those coatings work pretty well and quarter the price, and it'll extend the longevity of the roof a little bit longer. Alamo West Fire and Rescue, we're complete with all of that, except for we're still waiting on our roll-up doors for the pump houses to deliver. They're supposed to be here this week. The contractor will get those installed, and we can get those wrapped up. That's Bulls Acres as well. The Otero County District Courthouse, this week I was in contact with the architect. We're still waiting on the contractor to finalize their cost estimates so that we can establish a maximum allowed cost. We're looking at, by the end of this month, hopefully trying to go into construction and start some of the civil work. Benton Twin Forks improvements, those designs are about 60% complete. The Railroad Avenue Bridge, that design's 60% complete. Those drawings have been sent to DOT for their review. Once we receive those back, they can go ahead and proceed with the completion of the drawings and the construction documents. Jackrabbit Flats Fire Department, we installed a service road and water storage tank pad so that we can install 3 11,000-gallon tanks in there with pumps and hydrants. That was all done this week or this month, and the tanks are going to be set next week, and then the plumbers will come in and start putting everything together on their part. No current demo projects on my radar. The shooting range grant improvements, that was all completed this month, including all the handicap parking spaces, the canopy over the 200-yard, the canopy over the 50-yard, and then the 3 general purpose canopies. And then I'm already pricing some additional stuff for for Mark for future improvements.
Energizer Bunny, he never stops.
Oh, man. Some days he
There he
rings my
is.
phone a bunch. It's looking good out there, though. That place is, he's doing a phenomenal job
I know,
out
we
there.
get really nice emails about that place. You're doing great, Mark.
Chaparral Law Enforcement Facility, that's another one we haven't even received the grant on. Pamela's been in touch with Senator Townsend. They're trying to get those agreements in hand, but hopefully soon. Animal shelter grant, Loretta is working to purchase the building. Once the building's purchased and I have some specifications on the building, I can start working on pricing to get the foundation installed and all the necessary utilities to accommodate that. But we're yet to find a lead time on the building, but we are in the purchasing process of that building. The EOC generator and UPS, we're still waiting on the generator. It's scheduled to be here May 18th. Everything else is in place and ready to go. They're moving the existing generator from there up to Bent today. And next week, that'll be all commissioned and Bent Fire Department will have their backup generator in place. The administration building historical assessment plan this month, the architect and the historical consultants came through the building and reviewed everything, documented everything inside and out. And so now they're back into completing their assessment and scheduled maintenance plan for us. The Oro Vista Fire Station, we're adding off of their state fire grant, a 4-truck bay building. And currently the road shop is working on the foundation, and I don't know how they fit that into their schedule, but they've been doing a good job, and it's roughly gonna save us about $60,000 as to paying a contractor, so.
Great.
That's been a big help, and road shop's been doing a great job on that. And with that, that's all I have.
I think HB2 is funding, they have courthouse funding in there again this year. And I don't know if it's all passed yet, but can we dip into that again if we need more money?
I'll look into it.
Okay.
I'll go pull it up
Because the
today.
last I heard was like 17 million, and I mean, that's statewide, so it's not as much as it sounds, but.
I know House Bill 2 is the one they're also trying to maybe squeeze out some money to make us whole on the closure of our ICE facility. But I was also told yesterday during the Senate Finance Committee hearing to watch for an emergency bill for that issue. But yeah, I'll look into HB2.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything?
No, thank you for everything that you do.
Commissioner Matherly?
I'm good. Thanks, Trent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trent.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Nina Sisler, Correctional Services Director.
Good morning.
So for January, our average daily population was 150. Today's total population was 163. In-house population is 147. We have 136 males and 27 females. We do have 2 at Otero Prison, 5 on treatment furloughs, 1 out-of-county court that's out at another county, 1 on a furlough, 1 at Lincoln County. I have a total of 6 juveniles. 5 were arrested last week. I have 3 in Lee and 3 in Bernalillo. Video courts in-house, we had 49 municipal, 94 magistrate, 105 district, 7 out-of-counties. In person, we had 10 magistrate and 5 district. As far as vacancies, I had an officer resign, relocate to move to Albuquerque to work at the prison. But we had 2 interviews February 5th. They're in the background process, so it'll put us down to 6 once they're on board. Department of Correction transports, we did 6 males transported to Central New Mexico Correctional Facility in Los Lunas, New Mexico. We did 2 females transported to the Western Women's Correctional Facility in Grants, New Mexico. We transported 3 to the Salvation Army for treatment in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And other things, we had our January 2026 Employee of the Month was one of our nurses, registered nurse Amanda Colwell. And we did have Corporal Ricardo Terrazas and Officer Cody Thayer participated in the career day at the high school, which They had lots of fun. I also attended, along with Rachel, the deputy director, the eSIMS in Ruidoso with Mescalero and Lincoln County and ourselves, and I learned a lot, and there was a lot of networking. And I did have some individuals offer some free training for the detention staff, so I'm excited about that.
For all this transportation, are we still mainly using the sheriff's office for that?
We're doing all our.
You're doing all that?
We're
Good.
doing all of that.
Good. And is there only 4 juvenile detention facilities in New Mexico? Am I right on that? Okay. I
There
thought
used
so.
to be 16.
Yeah.
And now there's 4.
Yeah, okay.
We had a hard time. We had to use the juvenile probation to get them housed, but there's serious charges for all of them, so they needed to be housed.
We got a 215,000 square foot building in Chaparral that may be empty soon. We might be thinking about opening our own.
So, yeah.
Charge everybody up to keep them.
$475 a day?
Yep.
Yep.
I think Lee County is the only one that's less. So I have 3 there and 3 in Bertowville.
Okay. All right.
Anything for me?
I don't have anything. Commissioner Matherly?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Mark Pentecost, Lincoln National Forest.
Good morning.
Few updates. Prescribed fire operations continue across the forest. This past weekend, we burned a Cloudcroft community slash pile and ignited on Saturday. And there's several other pile burns going on in Otero and Lincoln County even today. The cooperators meeting that the Commissioner mentioned is at the Sacramento Ranger District. It's scheduled for the 10th of March at 5:30. It'll be at the Ranger Station. So invitations have already been sent. And the purpose of this meeting is to discuss emergency coordination plans in preparation for the upcoming wildfire season. So each cooperator will have an opportunity to discuss preparations and to share outlooks. We sent a wildfire crew to Alabama to Region 8 to assist with large-scale prescribed fires in the longleaf forest, longleaf pine forest. So this is really good training for us for our crews, because the longleaf pine forest and the ponderosa pine forest are very similar ecosystems. So it's good training. They get to burn a lot of acres down there. It's a lot different from here. So one of the interesting things to me is there's a study from the university that comes to us, a weather study every 2 months. So I just got the report yesterday. The average precipitation for December and January was 2.5 inches. And that doesn't sound a lot, but it's plus 5 inches above the average for the last 132 years. Wow. So that's like way better than the majority of the great state of New Mexico. The average temperature was 41.5 degrees for January and February. December and January. So that's plus 5 degrees different from a 132-year average. So that value ranks 2 out of 137. And rank number 1 is the warmest. And so we're pretty close to as warm as it's ever been. So the range staff's real busy this time of year with working with producers to update or complete annual operating instructions, all the grazing bills for 1 March on dates, and also processing annual authorized use requests from producers. So we'll announce the next big timber sale that we have, which will be part of the South Sacramento Restoration Project. So there's 2 active timber sales right now on the Lincoln. And this one should come in the next week or 2, and then another one soon to follow in another month or so. And those are the things I have for you, subject to your questions.
Well, the moisture sounds good. I've still got snow at my house, so. Nice and wet and muddy.
So with all the trees falling on the power lines and putting so many customers out, are we going to be doing any tree clearing near all the power lines?
We don't have a timber operation plan near a power line that I'm aware of, but you know, the permits that we have allow timber, harvest, cutting, and all that within the right of way of the special use permit. So we work with utilities as close as we can to help provide access to those areas and any other help that we can provide. But we don't have timber sales that are in power line right of ways.
How can we get that targeted?
Well, first, we would have to have somebody that would be willing to buy the timber. So having a very long, linear, narrow timber sale is not a very lucrative sale because of all the overhead expenses, you know, to buy it. So we're not allowed to just waste timber to cut it down and leave it unless it's like in a power line right away. So, you know, we would be happy to work with somebody who would be interested in doing something like that. And, you know, we have monthly meetings with New Mexico Association that deals with rural cooperatives, you know, to see how we can help make things easier. It's admittedly not an easy job. And, you know, there's hundreds and hundreds of miles of right-of-ways for not just power lines, but water lines and all other sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
He did miss one thing. The non-native invasive plant, EIS, final made it to its final draft stage to get prepared for opportunity to object, which will allow a forest-wide invasive species treatment program. They've been working on it since 2012. So it is a very big thing to get across the finish line. So that will help with all of our cooperative projects on doing different invasive species.
That's a very big deal for us. We're in this objection phase right now. It'll be over in the middle of March, and then all the objections that we get will have to be responded to. So we're expecting this, in the best case, to be done by about the middle of July.
Well, hopefully nobody
At the
objects
earliest.
to getting rid of weeds.
Well, I hope not.
Because
but
we're
you'd be
overrun with
surprised.
them. Nothing surprises me at all anymore. I've been in Santa Fe for a month, nothing surprises me today. But, all right,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to our consent agenda. We didn't have anything to pull, so I'm just going to read through all this. So
Yep.
y'all,
Yes, we do.
oh, we do?
Pull 8 for discussion.
Number 8. Did he say 8?
Did you say number 8, Gerald?
8. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Number 8.
All right, so we're going to pull
Just
number.
just for discussion.
Okay. All right, I'll read the rest of them and then we'll go back to 8. All right. Number 2, request approval of accounts payable bills list BL 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Number 3, request approval of the financial reports for the quarter ending December 31st, 2025. Number 4, request approval of January 8th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Number 5, request approval of January 16th, 2026 special meeting minutes. Number 6, request approval of February 2nd, 2026 special meeting minutes. Number 7, request approval of healthcare assistance claims and disposition claims for February 2026. Number 9, request approval of resolution number 02-10-26/114-43, a resolution authorizing approving submission of a completed application for financial assistance and project approval to the New Mexico Finance Authority Colonias Infrastructure Fund. The financial assistance requested is in the amount of $5,356,655, with a 10% from the county match of $535,665. Number 10, request approval of resolution number 02-10-26/114-44, a resolution authorizing approving submittal of an application for the 2026-2027 New Mexico Department of Transportation Project Fund. New Mexico Department of Transportation share shall be 95% or $1,491,511.05 with a 5% match from the county, or $78,500.58. Number 11, request approval of resolution Number 02-10-26/114-46, a resolution authorizing the county to submit an application to the Department of Finance Administration, Local Government Division to participate in the local DWI grant and distribution program. Number 12, request approval of resolution number 02-10-26/114-47, 2026 annual certified county mileage, maintained mileage report, which is a lot of freaking miles. 1,605 miles you could drive from here to Charleston, South Carolina on our roads. I just like to say that because we maintain a lot of roads. Number 13, request approval of resolution number 02-10-26/114-48, budget adjustments, February 2026. Number 14, request approval to appoint Pamela Heltner as board member to the Southeastern New Mexico Economics Development District Council of Governments. Number 15, request approval of a grant agreement between Otero County and the New Mexico Department of Transportation in the amount of $22,484. Number 16, request approval by Sacramento Mountain Senior Services to serve as fiscal agent for their capital outlay request in the amount of $387,300. Number 17, request approval of a solid waste agreement between Otero County and the village of Tularosa. Tularosa shall pay $2.25 per mile at 62 miles per trip for a total of $139.50 per trip. And number 18, request approval to change position from driver operator to labor operator in Chaparral. I'll entertain a motion to approve these.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to pull number 8 for discussion. So request approval of resolution number 02-10-26/114-42, a resolution authorizing and approving submission of a completed application for financial assistance and project approval to the New Mexico Finance Authority Colonias Infrastructure Fund. The financial assistance requested is in the amount of $4,708,243 with a 10% match from the county of $470,824.
So in the past, we've been working on DOD, the Department of Defense funding on that, and we have not been granted this, so we're going in a different route. So this is labeled as to start the reconstruction of Phase 1 project. Phase 1 project starts at the Holloman Gate, at the Holloman line, and will come east. What I want to do is have this rewrote to where it'll start at the railroad tracks and then go have our phase go until our money runs out and go west. That's, in my opinion, the most damaged road that needs to be repaired and the most local traffic on it. I still want to do it. I just I want it to be rewrote in the wording on it.
I didn't know we could do that. That's great.
So I got with the engineers last night on this project after Commissioner Matherly and I spoke, and basically we're rewording the way that the phases went, and we moved Phase 1 to Phase 3 and Phase 3 to Phase 1.
Okay.
That's what we did.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Gerald.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Okay, so do I need to reread this? It basically didn't change this.
Just say with changes as noted.
Okay. All right. I make a motion for the approval of resolution number 02-10-26/114-42, a resolution authorizing and approving submission of a completed application for financial assistance and project approval to the New Mexico Finance Authority Colonias Infrastructure Fund. The financial assistance requested is in the amount of $4,708,243 with a 10% match from the county of $470,824 with changes.
As noted.
As noted.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you for that. That was a good change. Good catch,
Yes.
Commissioner. Okay, we're going to move on to our scheduled communications. Number 19, Trey Friedrich and Alex Kelly, broadband consultants on broadband efforts in Otero County.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you guys for having us here today. Can everybody hear me, Crit?
Yes.
Awesome. Let me take over the screen real quick. Can everybody see the presentation?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for having us today. My name is Trey Friedrich. I'm with GrantWorks. I'm joined by Alex Kelly with RISI. Ms. Heltner suggested that we give an update for some of the broadband throughout the county, and we were happy to do so. A quick little agenda for today's update. We're going to go through the GWEP program funding for our services, give you a snapshot of the broadband in the area, some of the work that we've completed to date, and the current Wi-Fi project that we're working on, and some of the next steps that we plan to do over the next 5 months. So OBI's GWEP program, the Office of Broadband Access and Expansion, they created a program for grant writing, engineering, and planning. It's basically to help identify community broadband needs and to help apply for additional funding sources for broadband-related projects. The county was awarded a first round, and they were subsequently awarded a second round. This funding is expiring in the end of June. And that will be the extent of our services as well. Let me hand it over to Alex to kind of give you guys a understanding of a snapshot of broadband in the county.
Great, thanks Trey, and hi everybody. Thanks for having us here. So, part of the timing of this presentation is also so that we can tell you a little bit about what's going on in the county, but also hear from you what priorities you might have for the next 5 months while the GWEP funding is still available. So do keep that in mind as we talk through this. So the broadband landscape is difficult to track and fractured, but we're going to do the best we can to kind of make it clear for everyone. So the county has benefited from at least 4 funding programs to deploy better service over the past couple of years since the pandemic. But it's not easy to necessarily describe exactly all of those programs because they come from different places. They document what they're building a little differently. They all use different technologies, different grant recipients. So we're here to try to make sense of that all for you. So there's a bunch of new construction going on across the county. We're going to show you some maps in a second. And the good news is right now, due to the kind of pandemic-related energy towards broadband expansion, every single and underserved location in the county is supposed to be getting something new and better within the next 4 years. 4 years is a long time, but as you know, construction also takes a long time. And so in the interim, we're working on enabling some quick fixes as well while that broadband rolls out, specifically like the public Wi-Fi that Trey mentioned, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but just trying to make sure that there's a long-term plan for everyone in the county to have better service, while at the same time in the short term, making service as available to as many people as possible. So to go through some of these maps, just to cover some definitions. So when we say somebody is served with broadband, the federal definition of that is that they have access to speeds of 100 megabits download and 20 megabits upload per second. This is generally a speed that's more than sufficient for doing video conferencing like this, as well as all the kind of business, education, or entertainment or telehealth functions that a family might need at their house. When we say underserved, that's a speed tier that's below but not at the very bottom. And then when we say unserved, we generally mean locations that have less than 25.3, and that's kind of like DSL and worse speeds. So the state has maps of where they think every premise is in terms of this served, underserved, and unserved right now. As of today, that map is on the right, and you can see it's a patchwork with the blue dots being considered served, with the red and orange being and underserved. So I mentioned there's a lot of different grant programs that have chipped away at this in kind of a piecemeal Swiss cheese fashion to date. In some instances, The grant awards went to deploying what's called fixed wireless technology, which is a kind of wireless broadband that the most recent forms of that technology can get you into that served category. In some instances, the grants went to building fiber to the premises, which is kind of the gold standard of broadband service that will be around and scalable and as fast as we need it for decades to come. And then, if you go to the next slide, Trey, the most latest program, which was actually just recently announced and finalized in the county, is the BEAD program. This was a federal program established in the infrastructure bill, and that was meant to get all of the remaining households that weren't covered by any of the previous grant programs. So again, you can see it's piecemeal all over the map, and a range of different technologies were funded. I'd say the one notable thing here is that you can see the kind of brown dots, which are really all throughout the county. Those are locations that are so remote that the only thing that the grant program could afford to do for them is basically provide subsidized satellite service. The primary satellite provider that the state has awarded funding is a satellite service provided by Amazon. It's not yet functioning. It will need to be functioning within the next 4 years to comply with the grant program, but that's one that we're in particular keeping an eye out on because it's a new technology that's not operational yet. So if you go to the next slide, you can see this is everything we just saw overlaid into one map. It's quite a lot, but in theory, every un- and underserved household will have access to something better within the next 4 years if everyone meets their construction and grant obligation deadlines. That is not to say that we can't also be continuing to look for better solutions for some of the people who are not getting the gold standard fiber to the home. Fixed wireless technology has more of a shelf life, as I mentioned, and the satellite service is a little bit unproven. We're hoping that it works out well. But anyways, there's been a lot of activity and funding that's gone to this, and the takeaway is that things are going to get better gradually over the next 4 years.
So some of the work that we've completed thus far, we've been working hand in hand with Ms. Helpner and Mr. Jimenez. They've been doing a great job giving us resources and reaching out to people on our behalf so that we can have some of these stakeholder conversations. We reached out to over 30 different community stakeholder organizations and got a hold of 15 of them to kind of understand the community sentiment towards broadband, understanding what their speeds are, and how that service is working for them. We've worked on GIS mapping and some of the data that we've received from various sources. The county secured GWEP Round 2 funding that puts us and extends us into the June 30th deadline mentioned earlier. We've also coordinated with PVT, Penasco Valley Telecom, to work on securing the Community Connect grant program, which we'll talk about in the next slide. And some of the wins that we've done, we've assessed the broadband landscape throughout the county, working with those stakeholders and with the county directly. And we've coordinated with PVT to help expand public Wi-Fi. So that leads us to the current project that we're working on with PVT. So OBI released a grant program called the Community Connect Grant. They set aside around $7 million for the state to connect community centers and different areas with public Wi-Fi. So we worked with PVT and with the county to figure out what locations might be available. And we found that the Cloudcroft Senior Center, the Weed Community Center, Mayhill Community Center, and the Pinion Community Center were good targets. So PVT put in an application for that grant program with the support of the county. Right now, it's waiting for award with OBI. I believe Mitch Hibbard is going to be addressing this later on in this commission meeting, I think next month or later on this month. But the next project milestone is we're waiting for award, and then we'll work with PVT and those separate areas, those different centers, to get that installation underway. And as for the future, we're still working on securing the public Wi-Fi. We're going to continue to analyze broadband throughout the area and create new and different maps for you guys to see. We want to help ensure deployment of all grant-funded broadband throughout the county. We also want to help find additional grant funding if possible. And we also want to help identify needs and other projects that the county might have as it relates to broadband. So with that, we want to thank you guys. Here's our contact information, our direct lines. We're happy to take any questions from the commission. I want to thank you guys for your time.
I have a question, and this is probably out of your purview. It's our state being what it is. Why would they go with a low orbit satellite that is not deployed and not proven? Why wouldn't they go with Starlink that is proven and is already deployed? I don't get that.
So, yeah, I can take that one. And there were a few locations that they awarded to Starlink, but in this instance, the state was heavily constrained by the rules that the federal government established. And with very strict grant scoring rules, their hands were kind of tied, and they had to go with the lowest cost option no matter what. So I share your opinion on the matter, but unfortunately the state kind of had to do what it had to do, and the federal government kept the money and was not going to release it until the state kind of met their objectives and scoring criteria that they set up. So
Where does it leave the process if this Amazon satellite doesn't get deployed? Where does that leave us then?
well, that's a great question. And the good thing is that obviously Starlink, you could sign up for Starlink tomorrow. What those houses would miss out on is the free receiver, which is part of the package. So if those houses, if Amazon is successful, they will get free equipment to set it up at their house as part of the grant agreement. If Amazon is not successful and for whatever reason those locations don't get anything, they could sign up for Starlink still. They would just have to pay the full freight to set it up, which is right now about $500. But it's not ideal by any means.
Well, like I said, it's the state of New Mexico. Okay.
So when is the last time that you updated these maps for coverage areas? Because isn't PVT installing wireless like in the Weed Pinon area now?
So we do need to wait for the data to percolate through the system and be reported. It's reported every 6 months. So I'm guessing that data hasn't made its way into the database because they don't need to report it. They'll report it after it's deployed. So that's good. That's good news. I'm sure that will be reflected in the next data release. But if they're actively building right now, it probably wasn't reflected in that map I showed you.
And then also in Muscalero, I know that they installed a new line too, and I think from this map it looks like Tularosa Canyon and all that should have coverage now. So I don't know if the installation, I know the installation is complete, but does that mean that the customers haven't accessed it yet?
It probably just means that they are waiting until the service is turned on to submit their updated data, and then the data only gets published every 6 months. So it sounds like it'll be updated this year in the database.
And then La Presida Canyon, La Luz Canyon, Cottonwood Canyon, Tularosa Basin Telephone Company actually was awarded that grant, but then couldn't complete it because of the road construction easement costs. Where does all of that stand?
That's a good question. Trey, I don't know if you know any more about that and which grant program you're referring to, Commissioner? Do you remember?
Yeah, do you remember that grant program off chance?
thought it was OBI for fiber installation, and it was a $4.5 million grant that they were awarded, but the total job was $6.5 million because of road repairs.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember speaking to them back in the day when we were doing our stakeholder engagement. I'd have to look back in our notes to see where that's at. But again, if they were able to get through, that would be reflected on the 6-month update that Alex mentioned earlier as well.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they gave that grant back because they couldn't meet those standards. And so what we were trying to do is supplement somehow with road repairs at the same time. And are we able to use Colonias funds for road repair on something like that? To supplement if we were to piggyback the two jobs at the same time?
It would need to be in whatever we submitted for the grant and approved, like, if there's a timing thing where we're doing some type of road repair and prior to that, we rip it up to put broadband in, then that might be, efficient and smart, strategic, planning.
Maybe that's the direction that we need to go. I was trying to do that as like capital outlay request or something like that, but might be faster to go through Colonias funds to get it done in this 4-year period.
Yeah, we'd have to wait till next cycle. As the current cycle, the deadline is March 5th. So we wouldn't be able to get in this year, but we could spend the next 6 months planning. If they can reinvigorate that plan and get us going, so we have some dates and some ideas on locations, mileage, costs. So it's definitely something we can work on.
Yay, thank you.
That's a great idea. This is great. This is exactly why we wanted to talk to you all, because this is gives us a really good direction to focus on for the next couple months. So thank you.
Okay. All right, anything else? Commissioner Matherly, you have anything?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, all right, thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
You too. Okay. Corinne, does Cecil?
Yes. Hello.
Good morning.
What I want to talk to you about is the sheriff's office, my
Okay, would you
experience
just
with...
say your name into the microphone,
Oh,
please?
sure, I thought since you said it. My name is Crenda Cecil. I'm 71 years old. I'd like to preface what I want to say about the sheriff's office with a little background. I was assaulted on August 15th, 2025 by a 45-year-old neighbor, transported to the emergency room, eventually diagnosed with a fracture. That was on Friday night into Saturday morning. That's the incident that sparked my communications with the sheriff's department, starting on Monday, August 20th, trying to understand the protocols and procedures and why this man was not arrested for this assault. Now, I spoke with people, sorry. Now, I was told on the Monday that I would not be able to speak to someone in any kind of that capacity until Wednesday. Now, this was August 20th when I started the communications with the sheriff's department. I left a message for the sergeant, spoke briefly after I had fallen asleep, don't remember the conversation, called back, would like to have an additional conversation, no reply. Called back to the sheriff's office, he did not reply, where do I go next? So referred to the lieutenant, then referred to the captain, referred to, after that, the undersheriff, because I am not being responded to. September 23rd, I put in my first call to Undersheriff Robles. 1 week later, another call, left a message. 1 week later, another call, left a message. After messing with this, I called back to dispatch and found out, well, I'm going to have to start over. Let's go back to the sergeant and see if I can get any kind of response. This is just trying to figure out what's happening. Now, I was told at the beginning of those conversations it would be 30 days of investigation in the sheriff's department. And then it would be turned over to the DA's office and they would decide what would happen after that. Cool. Incident happened in August.
September, I'm calling the DA's office after 30 days. It's not been turned over. October, I called again after 30 days. It's not been turned over. November, I called again. It's not been turned over. 90 days, after I was told it would be 30 days. Okay, at 90 days, I'm calling the DA's office going, what do I do? What do I do? I was put in with the investigator for the investigator supervisor, E.J. Forat. Now, I began a conversation with him, and until January, that's who I've been communicating with, and he's got a record of the report and all that kind of stuff. And what he told me was there was nothing he could do until it was turned over by the sheriff's department. That was January 15th. How long is that? 5 months? Something like that since the incident occurred, and it's still not at the DA's office? So I called the county, and I found out about this, and that's where I am. Now, suddenly, after all this time of not getting any phone calls back, suddenly yesterday, my phone is burning up. I'm outside, I'm not answering my phone. All of a sudden, I've got these missed calls from the sheriff's department. My partner finally answers the phone and finds out it's Robles, the undersheriff, for whom I've left 4 messages 1 week apart back in September into October. Now, he wants to talk to me now. And this is after, Sunday will be 6 months since I was assaulted by a 45-year-old man who is my neighbor and has 30, 40 pounds on me. Okay, so now he wants to talk to me, so we'll meet after today. This is 6 months of non-responses from the sheriff's department. I've asked questions of the sergeant, the lieutenant. Captain never even bothered calling me back after calling him and leaving 4 messages 1 week apart. I'm not waiting for them to call me that day or the next day. I'm giving them a week, business week, to respond. Captain never did at all. Robles never did until yesterday. Now, he said he's called me. My phone has history. I can look back at a particular phone number and know how many times and what dates and the duration of that call. He said he called me a number of times. I have 28 calls to and from the sheriff's office. All of them are outgoing except for 3. Those 3 calls came back to me, and I believe those were from Lieutenant Garza. But then whenever I had additional questions, he never responded to me again. So again, and then I go back to the sergeant. And very responsive, going to help. It's been turned over to the DA's office, he told me. It was not. So what I'm finding is non-responses from the sheriff's office. I'm 71 years old. Nobody has got any business whatsoever assaulting a 71-year-old woman, especially not by a male, especially not someone of that size. So this is my frustration. Investigation, Sergeant Wells said he would initiate an additional investigation. Never heard from anybody. The written statement was not in part of my file. Where did it go? I have it in my notebook. But where did it go? It wasn't in the file. So Sergeant Wells takes my written statement. He takes my photos of my injuries and the scene and all that. That's where I am today. So I'm meeting with Robles today. This is 6 months after the assault. It's unacceptable for anyone to have to be dealing with that kind of stuff. Not from the DA's office, not from the sheriff's office. Somebody who's supposed to be helping, somebody who's supposed to be investigating, and somebody who's supposed to be turning it over to the DA's office, and it's not been done. And I don't know, since I made the agreement to be, I can't think of my words. When I decided I was going to have to do something other than the sheriff's office or the DA's office, so I haven't checked since then to see if it's been turned over to the DA's office. At 5 months, it had not been, with their protocol being 30 days.
Sheriff Black, would you like to come up and respond?
Yes, I'm just getting my papers in order here real quick.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear him.
He's getting his papers. He's getting his papers. He's
Okay.
coming up.
For about the past 5 days, I've dug into this case, want to make sure that I understood exactly what was going on. This has been investigated. It has been investigated properly. It has been turned over to the DA's office. I actually had Lieutenant Garza go through and do an internal investigation, not so much an IA, but basically I wanted him to tell me what's going on, and he has done that. Again, this investigation has been completed. It has been properly done. It has been turned over to the DA's office. As a matter of fact, I've got a letter from the DA's office. Detective, I reviewed the documents you sent me involving Krenda Cecil. As I advised her, I had conducted the review and found that the investigation was done properly, in his opinion. I also told her the charging decisions were to be made by the sheriff's office in this case, and if it was presented to us, then we would be involved. Based on the totality of the circumstances and Krenda Cecil admitting to confronting her neighbor, Cody Thetford, no charges will be filed and the case is closed. So that's where we stand right now.
Okay, for, again, 5 months after the protocol was told to me on August 20th. The protocol was 30 days of investigation, and then in the conversations with Mr. Farrat, one of the things that I told him, and I have told other entities within the Sheriff's Department, whether it was Garza or Villa or Wells or whoever I talked to, was that the deputies' notes had inaccuracies, actually some lies. And it wasn't about the confrontation as was in the deputies' notes. It was about the understanding. I wasn't confronting him as much as I was wanting him to understand what the concerns were on my part. And while I'm standing there just not confronting him, not being confrontational, but trying to get him to understand, that's when I was assaulted. So I understand that from what is written down inaccurately, I can see where that, and so that would be another of my, and I have a whole notebook from the assault date. I have at daily who I've talked to, what time I talked to them, and the duration of the conversation. So it's all here. I'm not trying to remember anything. It's here. Inaccuracies, I've told a number of people, as well as Farrat. That was one of my concerns. There are inaccuracies. There are lies, actual lies. That's how inaccurate they are. So I understand that the DA's office might not want to make any charges against my neighbor. My concern, the reason I'm here today, is because of the actions or inactions of the Sheriff's Department. And I thought y'all should know. They have numbers and all that kind of stuff of all this stuff they've done. I'm a real person. I'm not a number. I'm a real person that had real experiences with the Sheriff's Department. And after 5 months, it had not been turned over to the DA's. I don't know what date that is. I do know that as of January 15th, when Mr. Farrat did call me back, he said, it's still not here. So you can tell me but my point here is Sunday will be 6 months. At the 5-month mark, on January 15th, was when I found out it had still not at the DA's office. I went down to the sheriff's office and sat there for an hour. The day before I called and said, how do I make arrangements to talk to the sheriff? Farrat said, that's who you need to talk to. Go down there and talk to the sheriff himself. I sat there for an hour, and then I needed to go to the bathroom. I wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom. I had to leave and come back. I'm 71 years old. If I have to go to the bathroom, I got to go to the bathroom, And I'm not some kind of dangerous person, that they won't let use the bathroom. I understand they've got the rules and all that, but really. So, yeah, not going to file charges. But I'm talking about the inefficiency and the inactivity, the non-responsiveness of the Sheriff's Department. And you can say 5 days ago, you checked into it. I called you the first time on September 23rd.
I have never received a call from you.
Okay.
No
well,
messages, no nothing. Never received anything from you.
Well, then y'all got a problem with the phone
No,
system.
we don't. We don't.
Oh, I've got the
Our
dates.
phones are, all the calls are recorded. And here's what I'll say. If you would like, I can have Lieutenant Garza put together his investigation. I can present that to our attorney, county attorney. Let him look through it, see if he sees anything. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with her all day. If you wanna have a meeting in my office, I'm more than happy. My door's
Well,
always
that's
open.
what I said to you yesterday, I would agree to after this
Well,
meeting.
I didn't talk to you yesterday, okay?
Oh, I thought you were Robles, I'm sorry.
no.
I can't hear very
Okay?
well, so.
I didn't talk to you
Oh,
yesterday,
so, I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm Sheriff Black.
Okay, I did wait for an hour, and I left a message saying, this is what I'm concerned about, and this is what Rat said to call. I wait, and I left my name, I left my number, written out, name, number, the reason why I was there, the 5 months of waiting. If he didn't receive it, then there's a problem at the sheriff's office. If he did not receive a written thing with my name, my phone number, and the reason I was there, and my frustration. So, where's the problem? It's not with me. I've got a list here. Like I said, I made 28 calls to the sheriff's department, whether it was with dispatch, leaving a message, or whatever. Every one of those calls are recorded here with time, what we talked about, what they said, and all that. So, yeah, honey, I'll make copies, and y'all can see what I've been dealing with.
Let me just throw in one other thing real quick, okay? The reason that this was not being prosecuted and everything is because Ms. Cecil actually battered her neighbor by hitting him in the head with a flashlight,
That is a lie.
okay? And that, again, I've got reports, I got body cams, anything that RB would like to see, I can put it all together, okay? There's absolutely nothing to hide here. My guys did exactly what they were supposed to do. They did present it to the DA's office. The DA's office has declined prosecution because of the scenario, everything that transpired. So, again, if you want to sit down in my office and let's talk about it, I am more than willing to sit down and talk with you about it, okay? I think right here, right now, this is.
No,
not-
they needed to know what my experience has been in the sheriff's department. So if you want to
Yeah.
talk later, but they needed to know what my experience was. I did not batter him. The deputy said, well, why would she grab the flashlight before she went out the door? It was 11:30 at night. It was a stupid question, and I did not touch the man with my flashlight. And I'm
Lori,
beginning to think that they're.
Beg to differ, beg to differ.
You weren't there. So anyway, there we go.
Okay,
That's all.
all right.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, so do I need to make an appointment with you or what?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you, when this.
Okay, Rick Hodgkinson.
That can work.
All right.
I'm Rick Hodgkinson. I'm here to talk about not number 23 out of Otero, but number 53. It was a misprint in the agenda. And sadly, I heard Mr. Matt Clark mention that the survey is ongoing, blah, blah, blah. I have personally talked to Baxter with Alamo Survey. I saw him out there. I asked Cody with code enforcement, let me where they're gonna be so I can help them. I'd be willing to move things out of the way to find points or whatever was necessary. First, I want to thank the sheriff for ordering that survey. I appreciate it. They actually did go out there and they're working on it. But from what I understand, it's a nightmare out there as far as property lines and where things are. But as of this point, I guess without knowing where our easements are, I'm kind of dead in the water here. But I am representing a lot of people. It ain't just me and my wife. There's a lot of people that are concerned about this dilapidated house, these ugly cars, the trash and the garbage. Right there, specifically right there at 53 Otero. As of recent, the renter, I don't know his name is Archie Cohen or something like that. I have seen his vehicle there a few times, getting stuff from some of the old cars. But like I said, without the survey, we're kind of dead in the water on, are they in the easement? Can we get them hauled off? What can we do to help our little community not look so trashy and junky? And it's a hazard, it really is. And like I said, I want to thank the sheriff for ordering that survey, and hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have points and an aerial view showing the trash, what's in the easement, what can be removed, and maybe we can get this resolved.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
That's what everybody
Definitely.
wants.
Okay,
Definitely.
everybody? Okay, and I wish Mr. Eaton was here from the last month's meeting about the trash on the bypass. We're 100% behind all
The
that.
21st.
Yeah,
Yeah, so anyway,
Okay.
thank you for your time.
okay, thank
Thank
you. Do we have any unscheduled? No? Okay, we're gonna move on to new business, mid-year budget review discussion.
Commissioners, this was something that county manager had asked me to put together for you. I wasn't really sure what you wanted to see. So what I did is I pulled some information from the last 5 years of revenue and expenditures across all the different departments. Also budgeted transfers and some of the gross receipts tax and compensating cannabis tax information. Also, just to mention that you can reference some of the data that was on the consent agenda item for the quarterly financial statements that were submitted to the Department of Finance Administration, because that particular agenda item had the year-to-date budget to actuals reports for revenue and expenditures. They're kind of longer reports. I didn't want to attach them again and have them reprinted for this particular agenda item. Essentially, for revenue and expenditures, if you look at the very bottom of those year-to-date budget to actuals reports, we're slightly under budget on both sides. For expenditures, and it's basically the last page, and this is across all departments, we're at approximately 40% of our expenditures. And of course, mid-year, December 31st, we should be around 50% on revenue and expenditures.
So yay us.
What's that?
Yay us.
Yes, that's a good thing for the expenditures. For the revenue, however, we're also slightly under budget. However, you have to remember that certain things like the PILT, which is around $4 million, that doesn't come until the very last week of June
So
usually.
will we get our
So-
SRS funding during that time too?
What's that?
Will we get our SRS funding when we get our, did they come together?
I'm sorry, the
secure rural schools?
Oh,
It's
that,
kinda
no, that's
connected to
completely
PILT.
separate. We have not received that yet.
Okay,
That does come separately, and that usually does come in the spring. I'm hoping that we should be getting it this year,
Okay.
correct? We did not receive it last year.
I think they approved 24, 25, and 26 in
Yeah.
that last round.
Yep. So for the revenue right now across all funds, we're around 45%. So I'd like to see that a little bit higher, but we're still doing pretty good. We're pretty much on track where I expected that we would be. Our cash situation right now, this was on the quarterly financial statement agenda item, the schedule of unrestricted cash. Our general fund as of December 31st had about $5.5 million. However, we have to set aside 3 months. We have to restrict cash for a requirement from DFA, so that leaves us with about $3.7 million. Let's see, our 1/4% hold harmless gross receipts tax, that fund is doing pretty well, which is a good thing because that fund can help to cover expenses in the general fund if need be. And, as you know, obviously House Bill 9, the county will be losing the rent payments from the ICE facility, which is approximately $500,000 a year, and that goes into the general fund. And then essentially after those debt service is paid off in 2028, the county was set to receive
an equal amount of those debt service payments from that ICE facility, which was approximately about $6 million.
Yeah,
that the
$6 million
county-
into our budget.
Yeah.
I mean, we're right at
So
the,
that's a very big.
see
hit
the
to
light
our
at the end of
general
the
fund.
tunnel after 19 years of maintaining that building, and now it's just gonna be gone.
Exactly. So unless something is done where we can mitigate some of the losses, I guess for the budget season that's coming up for FY '27, I've started sending out budgets to all the department heads for them to start reviewing everything and getting it back to me within about a month. I would caution you against, budgeting too much in the way of, I don't know, we just have to be careful. Capital outlay, I know all the department heads are probably gonna request salary increases, which, that's fine, but we just need to be cautious on what we approve until we know really, what exactly is gonna happen, which, we have to assume that, be prepared for the worst. So, do you have any particular questions?
I don't. Do you?
No, have we started collecting for the lodger's tax yet? Just,
So that's something, we have not started receiving any of the lodger's tax. That's probably more of a question for the treasurer and the assessor as far as where we are with that whole process. We do have a fund set up, but as far as receiving the money in, I don't know that anything has been done with that.
Last month you approved the software they wanted to use for that, so I need to follow up with them and see where the implementation is on that.
I have not heard anything yet.
And once we do start receiving some revenue, it will also need to be reported to the Department of Finance Administration with our regular quarterly reporting. So that will be an additional report that we will have for you each quarter once that starts coming in. So you can see where we're at with that.
and all of these expense reports are all FYI December 31st,
Yes,
all
all of
mid-year?
them for each, so I wanted to be able to compare apples with apples. So going back the 5 years on the revenue and expense, it's as of December 31st of each of those
Okay.
fiscal years.
Julianne, I would just like to say thank you for doing this report. This is the first time I've ever seen a report like this, so it's kind of interesting to see where we are in midstream, so thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. I think it's a good thing. I'm glad that Pamela had asked me to do it, and I think we should be doing this every year before we start with the budget workshops, just to kind of get an idea of where we are heading into that next fiscal year.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
No, this is great, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot about Gerald.
He's sitting at home with his foot up. Okay, any more questions? Commissioner Matherly, anything?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, all right, thank you, Julianne. Okay, so number 24, discuss and consider whether or not to approve RFP 26004, Information Technology Management Services.
And this is to be discussed
After
after
executive, so we will move on from that one. Okay, number 25, request approval to convert a part-time position to a full-time position in the Healthcare Services Department.
Good morning, Commissioners.
And you just appeared.
Ta-da. Amber Mayhall, Healthcare Services Director. So I am requesting that the vacant position that is right now allotted to be part-time, I would like it to become full-time. I do have the budget to support it. And as Commissioner Barella can tell you, I've been working pretty closely with Lincoln County on this Behavioral Health Reform and Investment Act. It has taken up a lot of time, and this is going to be a 3-year project. So it technically ends in 2029. And right now we're in the process of understanding how we have to do the regional plan as outlined and required by us by the Healthcare Authority. And we're gonna have to have a lot of stakeholder meetings in the community that are gonna be ongoing for the next 3 years, even after the approval of our regional plan. So there's a lot of work that is going to be expected of me outside of just overseeing the healthcare assistance program. So I'm going to need some support. Also, I do plan on using and leveraging some of the excess funds that are in the healthcare assistance plan to also support the priorities in the regional plan. So it'll still kind of all tie together, but I can't do this by myself.
You're doing great, though.
Thank you. Doesn't mean I want to be by myself.
It's probably easier to hire a full-time position than part-time.
Yeah. And, you know, I would prefer someone that has some formal education. It would be preferable. Yeah, I need someone who, I need somebody. Honestly, I just need somebody.
And you've got enough in your budget already for this? You wouldn't have to increase your budget to
Yes,
cover
yeah, I don't have to.
all the things,
Yeah.
the insurance, the para, everything?
I mean, the insurance and para, yeah, of course, it's all gonna increase, but it's still gonna come from my budget. It's not gonna come from the general fund.
You're good with that, Julianne?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I asked her permission.
Okay, any questions?
Nope, as long as you've got the money for it. Nope, I'll make a motion to request the approval to convert the part-time position to a full-time position for Healthcare Service Department.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Matherly? Did we lose him?
No, I had my mic turned off. There was
Oh.
a jet flying by. Aye, I'm for it.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, thank you, Amber.
Thank you,
And I
Commissioners.
just want everybody to know how responsive Amber has been, because I've been really stomping my feet because we are on that tight timeline.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm just in full panic mode that we don't get everything perfect when we submit it this time. So, guess she knows my stomping feet and
Yeah.
demandingness, and thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, number 26, request approval to apply for the NRA Public Range Development Grant application for range improvements in the amount of $25,000 with an equal match.
Hello, Mark Douglas, the range director at the best public outdoor shooting range in all of Otero County.
I agree.
Let me get the glasses. What we're looking for is to apply for and pursue any grants that are available in 2026 for continued improvements at the range. So I'm looking for authorization from you all
And it
today.
says here that the range has the $25,000 required for the match on the grant, correct?
That was correct as of last week, but some stuff has changed, and I'll have some individuals here that it'll end on a high note, a good note. We'll end the meeting today. But we'll be looking for probably pursuing the New Mexico Economic Development grant. That one has been very good to us, and that one was a 2-for-1 match up to $99,000 is what they would allow us. Almost $100,000 is what we were eligible for. And we've used, as Trent mentioned, the project manager, we've spent almost all of that. There's about $6,500 left, and that's actually going to be dealt with in about 2 weeks when we build the new archery bay.
Okay, so how is this going to change what you're asking for here?
So what I'm asking for is just permission to pursue these grants. I have about 4 additional projects that I'd like to pursue. That's the maximum number that Chelsea's allowing me to do this year. So we're looking at building a cover over the shipping boxes that we have in place last year. That'll be for additional storage, mostly for heavy equipment, keep it out of the weather. We're looking to put a roof over the workshop slab extension so that we have an outdoor classroom type setup. Right now it's just a slab, but if we want to extend the roof line of the workshop so that area is covered, dirt and gravel are always something I need all the time. And so part of that grant would be to purchase more of those supplies that are used there at the range constantly. Eventually, I'm going to need another firing line and a canopy. I'm going to hold off on that just yet because I've got some good news for you. I think you'll be very happy. So that's what I'm looking for. So you want the good news before you vote on the motion?
Yeah,
or-
let us have some good news.
And I have a question too.
Okay. You have a question?
So this is an NRA grant that you're applying for with a grant match of $25,000, and you're going to apply for an economic development grant to supplement the $25,000.
So I'm actually just going to go after the EDD grant from the New Mexico State. The NRA grant fund may not be available in 2026.
Commissioners, if I may, you cannot approve a blanket permission to apply for grants. Each individual grant with matches must come to you. If there's no match, I can approve it with consultation, but this is only this specific grant on the table today.
Okay, so we can't really even vote on this today.
You can vote on this grant, yes, if you know where the match is coming from, but when he wants approval to apply for grants, he has to bring each one individually, if there's a match.
Okay.
If there's no match, he and I are good to go.
So where's the $25,000 coming from?
Well, the $25,000 that we had showed up on December 31st, the range received a $35,000 donation from an anonymous source, and that money was going to be put up against the NRA grant there in January. Here in the middle of January, we found out from the NRA that they do not expect to be doing any funding in 2026. So I would move that $35,000 towards the New Mexico Economic Development Grant, and they would match it 2-for-1.
So do we need to withdraw this request and wait for the new application with economic development?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Okay. So I would like to just move to the good news, which is going to change everything anyways. Mary Ann Mayton, if you'd come forward, and Patrick Bond. So here with me today, I have Mary Ann Mayton, and from the, she'll be representing the Sacramento Mountain Foundation. And then I have Mary Ann, this is Patrick. He's from the Alamogordo Rotary Foundation. So we have some good news today, and I'm going to let them arm wrestle over who gets to deliver that news.
Ladies first, always.
We just wanted to say that the shooting range is an important asset to Otero County, and we are proud to donate $17,500 towards the project.
Awesome, that's great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm from the Alamogordo Rotary Foundation. Our foundation was started in 1989 with an initial donation from Billy Holder, if you remember, owned the Alamogordo Daily News at the time. And since that time, multiple other Rotarians have made contributions to our foundation. We typically donate to things that have to do with kids. We send them to leadership camps. We do college scholarships and those kinds of things. But Mark invited me out yesterday and showed me his plans for the new range. And as Mary Ann said, we recognize this as an asset to the county. And it was also initially a Rotary project. So we would also like to donate to the county $17,500.
Wow, that's awesome, thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, that is good news.
So with that donation, along with the $35,000 from the end of December, that money is going to be put towards the construction of a 100-yard shooting, another 100-yard shooting bay. So we've gotten a lot of interest in the one that we have. It's getting a lot of use, and we see a reason for building that second bay.
That's great news, yeah,
Very
yes,
good.
that
Thank
is
you.
amazing.
So I hope that ended the meeting here on an uplifted
Yes,
note.
definitely, definitely.
All right, well, thank you, and
wonderful.
I will
Thank you
bring
so
back,
much.
when I if we're eligible to the New Mexico Educational Development Grant, I will be back because I'll need matching money for that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank
Okay.
you so much. Way to bring us some good news.
Yes.
And thank you both so
Yes,
much. We
thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you, guys.
That's good stuff.
That is really good stuff. Okay, with that, we will move into our commissioner discussion. Commissioner Matherly?
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to apologize for not being there today. I'm still kind of got my foot up in the air. I'm trying to do good. I get to go to my first doctor visit after the surgery to see what it really looks like this afternoon, so I'll know a little more then. But before that, I've been down to the Colquitt meeting. There was several interesting things there. Like I had asked Sheriff Black to keep forwarding those reports. They were very surprised at the amount of law enforcement activity down there, that they're always telling me that they never see any deputies or they never see anybody, and all of this typical stuff that we always hear. So I had proof right there to show them that they are down there, they are doing their job, and we appreciate them for that. I have been trying to stay in contact with Pamela and RB on all the legislative stuff, seeing where we're at, what we're doing on the ICE facility down there, what's fixing to happen. That's one of those deals that's up in the air. Probably nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen quite yet, but we're Otero County, we're great, we're going to take care of it, and we're going to keep running. So with that, that's pretty much what I've been doing, and we'll carry on to the next person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, not much over the last 30 days, but I went to the legislative prayer breakfast. I am so thankful that the treasurer's office is doing that again. I went to a criminal justice for juvenile detention reform meeting, which was extremely productive. It was all about absolutely Otero County services, so that was a really good meeting. I went to the SIM workshop in Muscalero on the 14th and 16th, which led to a partnership with Muscalero that I think is going to be outstanding in expansion of behavioral health services. I had some mental illness teams meetings. I attended one phone call-in meeting with the Soil and Water Special Commission meeting. Went to opening day of the session and sat on the floor, and on the same day I also testified for funding for behavioral health, which I think is the final push in getting that grant application for the $2 million. So it was very important for me to be there. And it was an honor to hear their direction and all that kind of stuff, so that I could kind of reinforce in our grant application that we have to have brick and mortar. I attended trainings in California, conducted a teletown hall interview, which was extremely successful. Had 5 different meetings with constituents, one-on-one. Went to a wedding at the Tularosa Distillery this weekend, which is a beautiful venue in my district, and the wedding was just phenomenal. It was great. The band was great too. It was a really good band.
Was it a good band?
Yeah. Eldridge, can sing really,
Oh, yeah,
really
I know
good.
he can.
Yeah.
He can dance and play his guitar at the
Yep.
same time. We've seen him do it.
And then I want to remind everybody that we have our cleanup day on the bypass that was mentioned. We're meeting at 8 o'clock, right? 8 o'clock in the morning on the 21st on the bypass. I think at 10th in the bypass. Does that sound right?
I think that's right. I'm not going to be here. I'll be in Washington.
Hey, Amy, I thought it was over at the little park over there where they're gonna meet. Where they do
Balloon
the
Park?
Balloon Festival?
Is
Yeah.
that- okay.
That's where they
The
usually,
Balloon Park.
that's where they usually meet.
That's
Okay.
where we did last time, I think.
Okay, so 8 o'clock on the 21st. And I'm going to be pushing Gerald
Yeah.
in the wheelchair, and he's going to be grabbing,
Give him the pincher.
Yeah.
Put the trash bag in his lap.
That's right. And I think that's all.
Okay. All right, mine's kind of redundant because it's 5 million meetings, but I also attended the legislative prayer breakfast, and I'm very thankful for the treasurer's office for hosting that. They did a really good job, had a good turnout. I attended the inauguration of the Mescalero Tribal Council, which was very nice up at the Inn of the Mountain Gods. Attended the New Mexico Arizona Coalition of Counties meeting. Attended a town hall meeting in Artesia with our legislators. Attended a National Association of Counties Environment, Energy, and Land Use meeting. I'm on that steering commission. Attended a special commission meeting here. Attended a New Mexico Association of Counties Insurance Authority meeting in Santa Fe, which was very interesting, talking about how our insurance works and, supplies insurance for our counties. Attended the New Mexico Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Santa Fe. Attended the New Mexico Association of Counties Lobbyist meeting in Santa Fe. Attended the NMC Executive Board meeting. Attended a Zoom meeting with Margaret Byfield and Spike and Kelly Goss regarding their grazing allotment. Attended and helped facilitate growing. Attended the New Mexico Association of Counties Board meeting. Was on the Michael Shinaberry radio show with Kelly Goss. Spoke at the Federated Women's meeting along with Greg Cunningham. He's running for our U.S. Congressional District 2 seat. Attended the New Mexico Board of Directors meeting in Santa Fe and attended the PARS Grant Agreement Training Seminar with Pamela and Julianne yesterday, which was kind of interesting. So that's what I've been doing. And then I leave for Fort Worth Thursday to go speak at the American Stewards of Liberty Summit. And Secretary Rollins is going to be our head speaker, and Congresswoman Harriet Hagman from Wyoming will be the other speaker, so I'm anxious to meet them. If I can just get 5 minutes with them.
That's a great
I'm going to light them up.
I
So
seen that.
I
I said,
hope
oh, I
get
wish
to
I
talk
could
to
go.
both of them. It's going to be good. I'm excited. So that's what I've been up to.
All right, commissioners. This month, I participated with RB in a mediation for one of our lawsuits that we successfully settled. You are aware of that?
Yes.
And several trainings for Civic Plus for our agenda software. Staff got their first training Monday, I believe it was, to learn how to put agenda items in. We are scheduled to go live March 12th at this moment. Watched the House and Senate hearings for House Bill 9 and tried to stay on top of that. Participated in a Senate Finance Committee hearing yesterday on what they may attempt to do to help make us whole, which they can't make us whole. Had the first in many years of my Wildlife Services Advisory Board meetings. The program had been run well, so we didn't see a need for meetings. We have a new Wildlife Services Director, so we held our first meeting. My advisory board members are ranchers in the community, and they advise on the program, their needs, and I don't know everything about their needs, so they're a great asset. And they are really happy with Mike's work. He hit the ground running. Our lobby reconstruction will begin Monday. I will be letting department heads know today that the front entrance will be closed and our receptionist will be located in room 101, that side door when you come up. So all entrance to the building will be through that left door, or if you have a key to get in, a badge, you can come in the side door. So that'll be a couple of weeks. They're working on that. It will not be complete until May, as the glass is on order and we don't expect to get that until May. But they're gonna go ahead and start reconstructing the front desk and getting it ready to go. PARS, yes, I have been tracking and working with Lori Black with Senator Townsend and Senator Townsend on getting our grant agreements. It's been most frustrating. They've been unresponsive. We found out the day before, there's a training yesterday to learn how to download our grant agreements and sign them, which is quite ridiculous. I am checking regularly for those grant agreements. The minute I get them, if I have to, I will schedule a special meeting. So that's where we're at with that. And that's all I have.
That's a lot.
Good morning, Commissioners. It has been busy. Like Pamela said, we've been working a lot to figure out, how to deal with HB 9. I did tell her yesterday what I thought would make us whole and that we could ask for, and that was $80 million.
There you go.
That seemed reasonable to me.
I like it.
probably won't happen, but, we're doing what we can and, trying to be flexible and, strategic. Separately, I've been making sure the Patriot Point MRA is proceeding along. And, you know, we had the public hearing today. We'll have another one on the 26th, and then that should complete the majority of the requirements and allow them to proceed with securing their financing and moving forward. So that will be good. It's definitely needed. We're continuing to get data out of Holloman about how much housing is needed and how many airmen and families are living in Cruces or El Paso instead of Alamogordo, and you know that's money lost. Reached out and wanted info on the MRA process, and I gave that to them and let them know that it made sense to go with the city, because that would, when they go with us, since it's outside of or it's in the city's jurisdiction, not ours, that adds a month or a month and a half, because the city will have to pass an ordinance concurring with that. So that was discussed at the last city meeting, and the city was generous enough in deciding that they would let us do it. So that will be on next month's meeting. I'm working with Modrel again to facilitate that, and they're publishing the notices that are required to have the public hearing for next month to facilitate Sendero also getting MRA benefits. That being said, they are having a groundbreaking for that project on March 3rd at 12:30, and would like all of you to be there. And you might ask, you know, well, if they're breaking ground, does that prevent initiating the MRA process? And it does not. The factors that justify an MRA plan are still present, and for the benefit of the development, as long as we complete that process before the end of the year, that will give them the benefits, because as soon as it is completed, that's when normally higher property tax rate would go into effect. The whole point of the MRA is freezing the property rate at what it is now, the property tax rate at what it is now, in order to help this make a viable project. You know, there's absolutely a need for it. It's just challenging doing it in a way that makes it viable for developers, and this is a way for us to do that and to attract further development.
You said that was at noon?
12:30.
Or 12:30, and then when you go access that, do you go in front and around the bowling alley, or do you go through the subdivision?
That I don't know for sure.
Okay.
It's
I'll
back
figure
in
it
there
out.
somewhere.
You know, there's a bill right now in Santa Fe about these MRAs, because there's a need statewide for these.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting, because most people have no clue what they are. So
That's the problem.
there's a need all over the state.
I wish there was a bill that would be addressing industrial revenue bonds, and specifically and explicitly identifying housing as one of the qualified projects that would fall under that, because it's a much more streamlined, straightforward process, and would be really beneficial for this. But that's not there. Maybe next year we can get that. But you know, at the end of the day, it's the same result. There's just a lot more steps and complications with this, and that creates confusion. But as part of that legislation, I think they are addressing or clarifying, like the definitions with blight and everything, to kind of separate it and say that, you know, just if you have, struggling economic growth and a need for housing, that is, we won't call that blight, but it is a thing that justifies doing an MRA. Right now, that still exists, but it's under blight, and that's a scary word for people. So hopefully that fixes that. And actually, I mean, Sendero potentially has the ability to qualify under IRB right now, with what they're working towards, which would be a direct contract with the Air Force. But currently that's not in place, so it made more sense to move forward with the MRA. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, that's all I got for today.
Okay, well, we've got to go into executive session, so I make a motion to hold an executive session under NMSA 1978 to discuss pending litigation and contracts.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Should I do roll call?
Yes, and we need a roll call, please.
Yes. Commissioner Markwart?
Here.
Commissioner Matherly?
Here.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
We're the ones from this.
There is one.
Okay, and they've got pictures of that lady. Well, I was gonna call him out if she didn't say something,
not approve RFP 26-004, Information Technology Management Services, submitted by Wendy.
All in favor? Aye?
I to not approve.
Right.
Did we get a
exactly.
second?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll second it. All in favor? Aye? Okay. All right. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald.